Let me see. Ooh. I have a deep voice because I'm sick. Okay. Okay. Let me put some 3 AM lock-in ambient founder flow state 9 to 5 escape. That's what we're doing, what we're slapping on today. So, let's see. Everything's working fine. Yo, Logan! Morgan! Okay. Yesterday I was tweaking a bit the sounds themselves because sometimes I had a feeling like when I'm selecting stuff, like double sound is being played. And I implemented a bit of a trick, like a wait time. I track when... Yo, 23! Morgan. So I was tweaking with this and the spawning was fixed. So today what we can do is we can wire some interesting events. I still have to tag all the points of interest and see if theirs working. I mean, if the stuff works there. So that could be a bit tricky. But, yeah. The zombie spawn effect was just a test. Now we're gonna try to wire it on, let's say, when you forge an item for the first time or something, that zombies would spawn and that they would attack you. I also fixed one important bug that was kind of bothering me, and that was the health tank. When you went to its radius and it unleashed the spores, all the units had a command assigned to them, attack move, but they were going into the wall straightly, you know. They didn't want to avoid anything on the path and so on. And I figured out, yes, because basically I was giving them a target on a health tank itself, which actually removes the nav mesh underneath. That was a bit of an interesting bug, I'd say. Oh, trying to follow good tutorials, that's good. So, then I think we're gonna remove a couple of stuff, because I really want to wrap this first area. So, for example, the camps with spikes will be removed. We're gonna have only normal camps here, because otherwise that's too much in the beginning. At least I think so. Okay. So the zombie spawned, but now we're gonna test out. Did the thing I dreaded drastically change the core system of the game I'm making? Now stuck with redesigning the character sheet. Oh my god. But, you know, sometimes you have to do what you gotta do. And yeah, and how do you feel? How are you feeling about it? Inspired, excited that you have to redesign it? Roll 5d20 for damage. Forest one. Now we had this little thingy in here. Unit spawner. You know what? I think I'm gonna simply kinda try to save this. But I can't. Let's see. If I have resources here, levels, I'm gonna create a separate folder called scenarios. And maybe we can reuse some scenarios in other cases as well. That's why I'm gonna try to serialize and save them on the disk. Scenario, levels, level curves, level scenarios. We don't have them. Right, quick question about this screen. This one. Logan says, lack of inspiration. I feel like the old sheet did a solid job, but now I gotta start from essentially scratch on it. Sketching out possibilities right now. Hopefully we'll start on Figma in a bit. Ah. Filler properties. Biome type, level type, that's all me. Filter properties, yeah. That's all I had to create. But Godot makes it really easy to make like tools in the editor itself, so I really highly recommend it. Now let's create a new one, and this one's gonna be unit spawner level scenario. And we're gonna call it spawn. Spawn force protectors, something like that. Spawn force protectors on foraging item. And then we're gonna think about it, how this is gonna be actually implemented. So we have the ability now to spawn this. One of the downsides is that I don't have this dynamically created. By dynamically I would mean, for example, that I would say which tier type, and then appropriate units would be spawned by the biome. You know, in level 1 I would spawn some bandits, and level 2, like level 3 for example, cavernous depths, I would spawn some other things. But maybe it's best to keep it organized and separated. So maybe spawn force protectors, yeah, we can say spawn force protectors, yeah, on forging item, forest. Spawn forest forge protectors. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm creating a lot of things by myself, you know. For example, this is a custom resource. It's basically a thing that where you assign all the properties that are then being exposed here. And you expose the properties that are being assigned here by assigning export tag to the prop. So for example, if we're looking at unit spawner level scenario, take a look at this. Unit spawner level scenario. If we go a bit up, you see that I have public string unit ID, and because I have export on it, this is now visible here. Unit ID, spawn type, and everything like that. So what I do is then I save this object and I reference it in the game. It stores like a value, how I'm gonna do things, you know. It's like a database, I would say. Database entry. You'll see. It's very fun to learn it. I mean, it's cool. Actually I have unit weighted list and entity weighted list. I don't need the entities. But let's try out a squad, because squad, back in the day when I used to make squads, they had a thing that there was one captain in the squad and all of the units followed him. And when that captain died, the next strongest one became a captain. So that was one speciality of the squad. You had like multiple units roaming in the same direction and wandering around. So maybe let's go bandit squad. Basically I could have this squad data resource saved somewhere on the disk. Let's do it. Let's keep it organized. We're gonna create a new folder called squad. I think we didn't have it yet. Here it is, squads. And I'm gonna save it to disk. Save as. Blah blah, back. Squads. Let's call it bandit. Or... Now, see again, I'm having problems with naming stuff. Like I could say easy bandit patrol, medium bandit patrol, or something else. Let's go with, I don't know, easy bandit patrol for now. And of course, I'm gonna rename it. This has to be named squad. Edit. Where is it? Bandit patrol squad. Yeah, let's leave it like it is. He's a bandit patrol. Faction will be bandits. Not sure why did I have faction here. And then I added ability that I could assign special actions to the leader itself. And the member actions. But I think that I have one config where I actually have this already set for the leader. So that would be for overriding. Here I do. See, I have squad leader default actions, and then this default is patrol in circle radius. And squad member default action is follow the leader. Yeah. Priority -5. Okay, that's interesting. Here we're gonna probably have some issues. And game jams would be my opportunity to utilize a section of an idea, inventory, enemies, etc. And eventually I would have my own objects, filters, etc. The basic question here is, practicing and practicing and practicing will not just help me learn Godot, but how would I choose to interact with it or build my own way within rules? Oh. I usually started out, how I learned. Of course I watched tons of tutorials, but you know, there's a thing called tutorial hell. If you watch a lot of them and you don't try building anything, that's bad, you know, if you just follow the things. So the best thing to learn is probably, yeah, you have to look some and get familiar with the UI and so on, but you make yourself a very small scope game. For example, you give yourself a mission. I want to create a, I don't know, simple platformer. I want to have a couple of blocks and I want to jump on them. And then you start. And then you start by looking up. Okay, how can I make a character move? Okay, I see that from one tutorial. How can I make one character land? And how can I make the ground solid? Then you see that from another tutorial maybe. You start implementing it. But the point is that you don't follow the tutorial from start to finish, like how to make a platformer, but you envision yourself and you try to get the fragments from time to time. And maybe even read the docs, because it's very good and powerful for Godot to have documents, help read. They even have some tutorials in it from time to time, and that's really good. But one interactive tutorial that was out there was, I believe, by GD Quest. Just a second. I know that this is an what is it called? GD script, but anyway, look at this. This dude has otherwise very interesting tutorials. Exactly. But for the systems, making them transferable and so on, it's a wise thing. It's a wise thing, but I wouldn't do it in the beginning. Never. Because the biggest motivation factor, at least for me, was always making stuff work and see it behave, see it interact with the other stuff. And if you're just making systems, trying to organize everything like completely modular, that's not for the beginner to work on. You have to overbake the cookies a couple of times to make them good, you know, or underbake them, whatever it means. Okay? Oh, Kana. I guess she's angry. Somebody came. Exactly, Logan. I couldn't have said it better. Let's see now. I was in the squad somewhere, right? Yeah, and that's what bothered me the most, because I didn't name my resource squad. I usually like to add squad at the end, or skill, or shop, whatever the thing represents, because then it's much easier to search for it. You know, if you have to quick find something, You just know, enter that keyword in, and it's gonna work okay. So we have easy bandit patrol squad. And here I say that leader actions and member actions are gonna be only default. Max size of the squad is gonna be 5. Squad unit populate source, and then I have weighted list and handpicked. I think that handpicked was this. I'm gonna use handpicked. For example, this means that always only certain enemies will spawn. Max size, I'm gonna say 3. And here we're gonna say normal bandit, bandit thug, maybe, or brute, or crossbowman. Yeah, let's go with crossbowmans. And what is this? Randomly populate units. I completely forgot about this. Let me see, what does it do? Squad data resource. This was added 10 months ago. Bravo. Aha. Aha, so if I have weighted list. Okay, I get it, I get it. I'm then populating units themselves, which is actually exported one. Uh-huh. Good. Don't need it now. So if I go back here to the forest one. No, actually that was a scenario. Sorry about that. Easy bandit patrol squad, and then in scenarios I think we had don't I have them saved here? Level scenarios. Okay, easy bandit patrol squad, that's okay. Now if I see the dependency or owners, forest 1, I go in here and this one's gonna be changed by that one. Object. Squad something. And again, see, I didn't name it scenario and then I had trouble looking it up. Here we go, now I write scenario. Okay, I added one, and I'm gonna remove this one. Now this thing that I have here, we say that this will only spawn in which condition? So I would say around player, not really. Around POI. Target POI will be Forge. Exactly. And around Forge within 5 to 10 radius. That's a bit too close. Let's keep it on 10. Something like that. Or 8 to 10. And the spawn position filter, I believe it's not gonna take in account because we have the Forge spawning now. Now command on spawn, this is the thing that I wanted to do as well, is a tag move unit command, but I have to set target, I have to wire this in. Okay, thanks for the feedback. That was one of my questions for stream. Awesome, I was even tempted to try Galaga, but then I start thinking about how the enemies fly in formation and I hit the brakes and mentally went back to asteroids first. Yeah, yeah, exactly, dude. Smaller, simpler games first to learn the basics, and then, you know, then other phrases, you can't run until you learned how to walk. Something like that. Okay, now I have somewhere here that unit spawn in level scenario. This one. And I want all the units, for example, to have the command on spawn. And I can't recall if I assigned this. So if, okay. Okay, issue commands to unit, I have this already. So I issue it to command leader. Disconnect is not needed. One shot. I completely forgot about it. I saw somewhere that a one shot is actually a possibility that then it auto disconnects if you use the connection to the event like this. Okay, but command on spawn. Problem with this thing I have is if I issue command to unit, I wonder where the target is gonna be set. Null return UCC unit command controller issue command. In issue command, do I duplicate it already? I forgot about this one. No, I don't. Huh. So if command on spawn equals to null, if it's not valid, I return, that's okay. I have command controller, but then with the issue command, do I have duplicate somewhere? No, but where's the target position? So I'm duplicating this stuff somewhere earlier, because I know on issuing commands, for example like here, command item effect something, unit command item effect, assigned command, I duplicated, see? And then assigned command has target position assigned. Yep. And then I issue a command. So I'm gonna have to duplicate it, otherwise they're gonna share the same data and there's gonna be an issue down the line. But I want to see, where do I call this first? So this is being called here, and the command reference is already here. So command on spawn, we return, and then we do that. But what we gotta do is, for example, say issued command. Where are you? Unit command resource. So I say unit command source or command on spawn, duplicate through, and we have to cast the correct value. That's one, and then I don't do command on spawn, I do this here. And then here I can simply say issued command target position, and this has to be passed in. Huh. How will I know what the target is? because I don't have it spawned yet. For example, I don't have spawned squads. Where do I call this? Level world position. This is do spawn. Let's see. Do spawn gets hit in process, right? Yes. It does, but somewhere I'm getting the random position, world position. Get candidate positions. Get POI tile, exactly. I have to get the POI tile based on the stuff that's being set in this resource itself. And POI tile filters that. Now, if I go back here and I have get candidate positions, I'm gonna simply do one thing. And this is gonna be private vector 2. And we're gonna call it get target position. Same parameters like there, with a bit of a difference, and that's gonna be not this, but it's gonna be like that. That we only get back a single position of the thing that we're looking for. So this means that this can be used as a target position of the command where I want the units to move when I spawn them. And this one is just gonna be... Oh, what's the default? I don't need a default. Why this bitchin'? Yeah, never mind. And then in the command... Now here, I could filter the target position based on the command that I'm issuing, but I know that the target position is always gonna be probably the place where we are, that we want to guard or something, and so on. Maybe. Let's see. Vector 2 target position equals to get candidate position, or just get target position. Pass in level, and now we have it. For example, this can be the origin point of the point of interest, and here I say target position equals to this target position with a smaller case, and then we issue it. Why UCC? This is always gonna be here. Don't really need it. Unnecessary check if you ask me, so this one's gonna get nuked. And issued command is gonna be here. Removing this part. And then I say on issue command, target position equals to this target position. That's okay. And I don't have to call this one issue command because command issuer, command controller is doing that already. So if we go to issue command unit, now this is gonna spawn if we have something set on it. But now we have to wire it to listen to the correct event, and we don't have that yet. Let me see, Godot. We're gonna build a bit. Oh no. Building, building, building. Around POI. And then the command attack move unit command resource. Okay. Move speed multiplier. See, I was smart back then. For example, attack move, they could have a faster movement speed if they're under the command. Okay, now if we have this, what I gotta do is I gotta find where the level scenario has a condition for this somewhere. Conditions. And the condition currently I have blackboard check, and I'm not sure if the blackboard check is working, but let's see. This is the base class. Okay, let's go baby steps. First we're gonna try basically spawn like a patrol towards the, I don't know, forge in 20 seconds. I'm gonna save this one and I'm gonna hit play. Let's see if we have it here. Yeah. So in 20 seconds we have to get to the forge and see if something's gonna come our way. And that something has to be like 2 crossbowmen and 1 normal bandit. Now my biggest fear is that the squads don't work anymore, because that was something that I was implementing 10 months ago. Probably their priorities are a bit messed up. Come on, we still have a couple of seconds to find the forge. Here's the forge. Now by all means, they spawned. Wow, but there's a lot of them. Wow, it's completely, it keeps on spawning. I don't have a limit, look at that, oh my god, shit. You! It's nuking me. Wow. I feel violated. Okay, so they actually spawned around the forge, so that condition is working. Let's see, what did we spit out here? Remove child, okay, this is regarding the object pool. But here, object reference not set to an instance of an object, unit 288. Uh-huh. This is just for texture displayment. Actually, we have to wrap this one in here. So this is basically automatically displaying the command that the unit has. And when we put the unit in the scene tree, I guess this one still isn't set, and I'm setting this one too early. That's one of the problems. Okay, now if we go back to that command, to that condition. So 20, and then it started spawning. But it spawned like a madman. Aha, count, max ticks, count, that one was unlimited. But if I have one, I think after that it should be set to finished, right? Scenario, resource, max count. Times ticked, exactly. And then if camp process is false, I set it to finished. Okay, we fixed it. It works like it should. Okay, now this was 20-second delay, for example, that it's something occurs. Now, to add some randomness to the game, we can increase unpredictability by, for example, already adding a range. So for example, from 20 to 40 seconds this can appear. Makes sense, right? So you're not like predicting everything. Level scenario time condition. Rogue is the way, exactly. Now, problem with the conditions I have here is I'm gonna have to duplicate the resources themselves, otherwise we're gonna have problems again, like conditional checks. And if we go here, let's see the reference for this thing. And now we have not this one, not that one. Where do I hit evaluate? This is the place we have to look for. Level scenario, this one. So we do this in level scenario itself and can start. That's okay, but level scenario resource is the thing that we duplicate, and the level scenario controller. Here we go. When we init them, we duplicate them. Actually, you know, this is deep copying everything, so this is okay. This means that the conditional resources are also going to be duplicated. That's okay. I think this is going to be working well. Now, if we have wait for time, or wait time, conditional resources, something like that. Okay. Now, there's a thing. I can have time pass like min and time pass max. And that's one thing. But then there's also this way, for example, that I store one simple vector to I. And x means minimum and y means maximum. Let's make it time to pass min, or min time to pass. And we could say private double and call it time to pass equals to 0. And simple one also, we can make the init function in here, slap it in, bool initialized, something like that. But, there's always a big but. We have level scenario condition controller. I mean condition. And then I have evaluate custom. And here I could say init condition. Protected. Void init. And I'm gonna slap in the same parameters like I have here. Level scenario. Scenario resource. And I'm gonna put here virtual, call it custom init or init custom. Now I feel like a Brit init. So then we don't have to do the logic checks there, but we just do it here and protect it. Bool initialized equals to false. And in the first evaluation we just say if initialized false, we call init. That's a simple way of doing it in the same loop. Probably not the best one. I could call the init separately there in the controller, but we'll see how I have structured everything out there. And in here I have to add the return type, which is void, but init custom, slap in level and scenario resource. And that's okay. And let's see, we have scenario controller. Can start is being evaluating. I mean, this is evaluating stuff here. And this is being like ticked once a second in the controller. Yeah, let's not complicate stuff when we don't have to complicate. I'm gonna leave it like that. So what we do here now is protected override. Void init custom, of course. And I put this one up above everything because init should run first time. Oh, I forgot about something. Condition resource. I have to init custom and then I have to set here initialize to true. Otherwise we're gonna have an infinite executions of this function. And now what we do is simply this. Time to pass. In the init we say, which RNG are we gonna get? Let's say level RNG. No, we're gonna get, you know, one. Level global profile controller. Current profile. Current run. Scenario RNG, this one. And then I can say a random F range, but this is float, right? Here we're gonna have a bit of problems. Just a second. Min time to pass and max time to pass. And these are doubles. So what we gotta do is we gotta convert them to floats. Or randf range returns a pseudo-random float between from and to, inclusive. That's good. So we say, take this thing from this one to this one. If I want it to be a fixed value, I just basically set the value to be the same. And what we're gonna do is actually, I'm gonna set the breakpoint here for the first time. So we'll see if the values change. If the value changes, if it's not, I don't know, like 5 from the first. Please leave the complicating things to me. Now I call dips on complicating. They don't call me the scope expander for nothing. Exactly, Logan. Scope expander. Okay, now in level scenario, min time to pass, let's say between 20 and 30 seconds this happens. And now if we're gonna start, I hope that we're gonna see... No, I have to start through Visual Studio Code. Oh guys, I think the coffee is starting to kick in. I just want to see the value. Did I set the breakpoint? I did. Okay. Going in. Okay. Time to pass is 29.16. Okay, it's working. Guys, be right back. I gotta go take a big one. Here we go. Whew. Your boy's back. Okay. Let's see if I have this here now. We saw that this is randomly being assigned, so this is good. And it should only take only once, so the value should be still the same. Oh no. I have to put this one here because time to pass was always 29. Okay, here's the problem. Like that. Okay, let's kill it. And thanks for welcoming, dude. Let's do. Now we have to wire it to an event. Basically, I can go like that. Huh. Like, problem with events is that you can have like tons of them, and keeping a track, some kind of an enum and so on is gonna be a bit difficult. And then you have to have good signatures, parameters that are getting passed in and so on. So the way I wanted to tackle this problem is actually that I would add a Blackboard condition resource, and I would say that I'm taking... Ah, you covered enums today. That's cool, Logan. So I was thinking about, for example... Hey, nice. That I get the level Blackboard, and in the level Blackboard I'm gonna write in a value, and this value is gonna have a key, which is gonna be items forged, and value of it is gonna be 0. For example, if we have integer, let's say if can't get rid of me, I'm here again. What's cooking? Events get forgotten and lost and come bite you in new booty when you try to debug. Yeah. That's true, that's true. When you tackle them, you immediately have to look for the cases how you're gonna unsubscribe from them and so on. So I'm gonna take a look at the Blackboard and I'm gonna make a comparison. If I just wanna see one thing. I know that somewhere in utility AI. Otherwise, welcome back, Simon. How's it going? Having a lot of work to do? If I go here and check out the Blackboard something. Considerations, this one. Blackboard check type, what is that? Let's see if I have check type. This is the same thing that I have there. All through this one. Blackboard comparison operator. I didn't implement this one in here. This one could I? Yep. Also grindy. Yesterday I fixed the spawning problem and so on. Some navigation issues were also fixed, and what else was it? Double UI sound effects from time to time that appeared. I think that I nuked them. And those boring tasks I usually like to do at the evening, you know, which is just the quality of life improvement and bug fixes like that. So okay, let's see this one. Equal, not equal, greater. Compare variants. Where is this being used? I don't use it anywhere, do I? Blackboard itself. I have the whole thing implemented here, but I don't call this anywhere. Why the F? Was thinking about this stuff earlier, but I'm just checking the values, if any of them are true, if they match, or if all of them are true. 11 months ago. Wow. And that's the only place that I use this comparison operator. What if I implemented something similar but somewhere else? Triggering condition resource. Where do I use these guys? In the items. Of course. Adapter property trigger condition resource. Comes from trigger condition resource, which is the base class. Then I have flag check trigger condition resource. And this is slapped in here. But do I ever... adapter property is actually getting stuff from unit stat system. Okay. Flag check trigger type. What's that going on here? Flag resource. Bravo. Okay, a flag. Then I compare flag to what? To object value, check condition. In the trigger condition resource, okay. I think that I didn't use these flags anywhere. That code. It could be. Exactly. I was working on something, but I didn't implement it. Anyway, I could be complicating this, like, What I just want to do is I want to check if the items forge this one, then I trigger this. But see, then comes the problem, for example, like, there could be a conditional to trigger this only. Like 50% chance of it occurring. Then we have to take that in account. Then in the Blackboard conditional resource, know what? I wonder one thing. You mean pardon for that. I can chain the conditions. So if I have like lever scenario time condition resource, that's the first thing, and then that's the second thing that have to go through, which isn't that bad, but I could even add a conditional, for example, that gets evaluated only once, and it says if it's ever gonna trigger, like kill switch condition resource, and I have like 50% chance of kill switch being true. This means that it never will trigger. So I can change chain the conditions, which is okay. Anyway, let's take a look at the blackboard. I've added the key, items forged. What I want to do is, this is going to be taking the blackboard from the level scope. So where I have the forge, I'm emitting something somewhere, definitely an event. Emit signal, let's see, forge, not this one, but this one, item crafted. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say global level controller, currently loaded level, entities, no, actually, blackboard, set or create war, string name is gonna be this, items forged, and I can slap in, for example, just a second, run resource. Do I have items forged here as well? Huh. Actually, I'm gonna add it here. Or crafted items. And I'm gonna increment this one here. So we're gonna track a total items that the player crafted. It's gonna come in handy. So we're gonna get a bit of more of visualization of how the runs are going, how many items are crafted on average and so on. It could come in handy. But what I can say now is global profile controller, current profile, current run, crafted items, ++. That's one thing. Then for the scope, I'm gonna say crafted items. I can do this, I believe, somewhere. Get bb_var. Gotta remember, if I have get bb_var, it's gonna return a variant. Try get bb_var. Gonna use this one. And it has to be casted into integer. Right. Let me see this mess. Okay, so without passing in the value. And wrapped in the if. But why you be complaining? Try get BB war. Okay, I don't have any AI in here. This is not gonna help me. Type int must be reference type. What's up with the dinos? Dinos. Alt and tab? It's flashing, what? Jesus Christ. You guys are gonna get seizure. Wait a minute. Oh, I gotta love it. Okay. Wait a minute. Ah, it's better, right? I guess the full screen was bothering it. I think somehow I pressed F11. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna rubber duck the poo-poo out of this. Where T is class. But if I remove the class, what's gonna happen? basically. But what is default? Okay. Now it stopped complaining, but what's gonna happen in the other cases? It should work. So I removed the class constraint. That's one thing. Out in number of items crafted. Yeah, I'm gonna change this one. Like this. Else we simply set or create. With the value 1. Like that. Okay. That's the first one. If I go here, I'm gonna change this value to num items crafted. So the condition is gonna be 1. Let's see if I still have somewhere strings, item forged. Okay. And the run resource. Okay. So we're looking for 1. Which means that I can kind of remove the time condition, time blocker, and all true. Okay, that's the one that we're looking for. So if now we go, for example, try to play the game. We're gonna first craft 1 item and then 1 group should appear. 1 squad of the enemies. Also, for the first area, I was thinking that maybe we could expand it a bit. In the size, just a little bit. Sometimes it feels clamped, or maybe I have to more spoon feed stuff. Well, okay, the introduction area maybe is okay. So let's go try to craft something. We have a stick. Dino ore. This hive. Okay, we can go make a club already. We put it down. Uh-huh. They started to appear, and they have a command to go here. Did they have a command? I think they had. But if I'm gonna craft something new, now they shouldn't be spawning anymore. Oh, Lilith got frozen. Okay, we can go for a nailed club. Okay. Good. They spawned only the first time. Now, ooh. I'm thinking about adding another condition, like chance of triggering this. Because in that case, for example, I can say that every time you craft a new item, there's, I don't know, in the beginning levels, there's like 20% chance that something appears. If you craft an item in the higher levels, there's 50% chance of it appearing. And that would mean actually that we wouldn't be hard limiting like these events only for them to craft one. I mean, you crafted the first time and then you're being swarmed. It would add a bit of a pressure every time, you know. What do you say? And if we figure that out, those are like repeating events that could occur. That's another layer. Yeah, let's try doing it. So I have like scenario resource, and in here I have checks regarding the max time and so on, which is okay, but let's make a chance. Chance could be, how should I go with this? So if it's 1, one would mean 100%. let's say protected random number generator. So I'm not gonna always write the sausages. And there we go, unstarted. No, unstarted can't start yet. Level, global. Like this, and then in the RNG, a random F in range between 0 and 1. It's more than chance. No. Oh, this chance logic. Just a second. Gonna simplify it. I mean, the calculation is stupidly silly probably, but issuing. Because if I go from 0 to 1 and I have like 7, what does that mean? Past chance roll. If it's less or equal to chance. Yep. But I want to have it multiple times here. Okay. Now we're gonna try it again. And we're gonna try it in terms of, I don't know. Yeah, problem that I have now is number of items crafted. Huh. Yeah. 1 plus 7 equals 8, call on me anytime, boss. Now this logic fails because we're gonna go upwards from here. I have to have comparison operators then. Definitely. Because in Blackboard, I have these comparison, some tend to get comparison Blackboard, that's okay, but operators compare variants. I used it like a lot of time ago, and left was one variant and right was other variant, and then I have the operator, which is executed here, which is okay, but if we go to level scenario, Blackboard something, freaking names. Export public, this one. But in this case, the biggest problem I have is that I'm comparing Blackboard to Blackboard. That's a simple comparison that I used a lot of times in the AI itself for the units. But then I was being smart with the flag resource, flag system, like a string and value. Basically that's what I actually wanted to do. Then I can simply compare one entry in the Blackboard to the value on the right. And I can make a dictionary of flag resources and values. I mean, and the Blackboard comparison operator. I think I used this somewhere here. Flag check trigger type. Okay, baby steps. Reference Blackboard is the one that I've created. So I have to replace this one. Whew. Dot dictionary, I mean collections dictionary. No. It's gonna be an array. Flag resource. Like this. And in here, I'm gonna slap in this operator. Public. Like that. And the check type is gonna be removed. And comparison operator is gonna be removed as well. So we evaluate, we get the comparison Blackboard, And then we have to check flags and check blackboards. Doesn't really matter. Check blackboard is okay. But I wanted to have check type as well. If everything has to match, some has to match or something like that. So I'm gonna keep that, I'm gonna throw that back in. Like that. Which is okay. For crying out loud, I know that I implemented this somewhere, some else. Probably. What did I do in Blackboard? Values and considerations. Score based on other Blackboard. No score consideration. That was just for the completely for those checks, but this thing could come in handy for so many other things that someday I'm gonna have to abstract it a bit more. Instead of level scenario Blackboard condition resource, I'm gonna have like a Blackboard condition resource. Like a separate one. And that's gonna be exported and managed there. I think that's the route we're gonna go. We're gonna extract this one up one level. Blackboard condition resource, and these conditions can then be used in different systems, because different systems use blackboards themselves. You know what I mean? Blackboard, where are you? What is that? Check blackboard values, okay. That's the thing in the considerations, right? Yeah. So let's make it. New script. Blackboard condition resource. And it's gonna be a resource itself. Let's make it a tool. And global class. So that's okay. Now I'm gonna start slapping that in. Blackboard level scenario. What is that? This one. Unit path. It could be needed in the future. Probably not really now, but if I try slapping this over to this class, I have these things. Let's say we're gonna have a public bool evaluate, and we're gonna pass in similar parameters that we have here, but for the Blackboard basically what we need is a unit. So this is used in resolving if we have the unit check type. That's gonna be a primary thing, not used in this case, but still in the Blackboard resolvement this comes in well, I'd say, because from the unit we can get all sorts of things like level and everything. And then I have this one as well. Which is a private one. It's okay. Actually, public unit. And the reference blackboard. This isn't gonna be cold. But what we do now is we have a comparison blackboard. Which has to be fetched from the blackboard static class. From the blackboard source type and the unit. That's okay. Now we're setting that in the beginning. Then what we have to do is, if we have a comparison blackboard, we have to compare it towards the flags. So let's add flags like all match equals to true. Like this. I mean false. By default we have false. This one is true, but some entries match. It's false. Let's have it like that. And now I'm gonna try to iterate over the flag resources. Call it flag resource. Out of I. And now in the flag resource I have what? String name for key. Let's call it if comparison blackboard. Come on. I move a bit up here. Values, I have values, okay. Try get something. And I pass in flag resource key. Value 1. And then I'm gonna go a bit lower and say if value 1 is here and value 1, just a second, flag resource. Let's say blackboard, compare, value something. Come on, where's that thing? Compare variants. And I pass in the value itself, so that's value, that's the left one, and the right one is value 1. Maybe I could rename this one stored value, and this one is comparison value. Is inaccessible due protection level. Well, congratulations, you became public. Let's see. Then the operator has to become here flag resource, comparison operator. So if this matches, I can say for sure that some entries match. But if it doesn't match, I can be for sure that all entries match equals to false. Get it? Okay. Now, based on the final condition, I have a blackboard check type, right? And this one has case 4, all true, any true, all false, any false. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna make this much more simpler. I'm gonna store the results in a simple hash set, or actually list, even easier, list of bools, so I don't have to complicate it too much. So what I do here is return results find oh no, this isn't gonna work. Cheating. This is what I was looking for. The syntax. And we need link here. That's it. Now I can move this one a bit up. Scenario. Blackboard something. There we go. And instead of all of this mumbo jumbo, I simply say Blackboard condition resource. Like that. And on evaluate, I take this one. And I simply say return Blackboard condition resource. Check Blackboard with unit. And that's it. Now this can be slapped into other classes if I need it by any chance. So it's a separate one. I like it this way better. And this one's going to be used in this scenario. But what we can do now is we can be pretty precise how we want to specify what condition has to be met. I got rid of the equality operation only, you know. So I can say if you forged more than 5 items, everything above 5 will start triggering this. Or I can say if you forged then less than 5 items, I'll do a condition. It gives us much more power, I'd say. Okay. Now let's go back to scenario. There we go. I'm kind of sad that I didn't take modding more seriously in my teens and early childhood, because I could probably have less struggles with designing these systems. You know, if I would be using Warcraft 3 editor in an advanced way, or Age of Empires 2 editor in an advanced way, writing custom scenarios and so on, I would exactly know what I have to build, probably. Yeah, so advice, modding is very good for game development, because that's where you actually get familiar with the systems, how they're architected and how professionals do it, you know. Okay, now I can slap in a new one. Blackboard level this one. Unit path nothing. But flag resource now we say, for example. What's the flag that we're looking for? In the forge, right? This one. Num items crafted. And we say for the value it's gonna be integer. It has to be more than 5. Or let's say more than 1. Or 2. 2. Sorry about that. That's gonna give us more. And then I can say greater than or equal to 2. Only then this is going to pass. So that's the first flag resource. All true, which is okay. And somewhere I have the chance. Yeah, let's say that the chance of this spawning is gonna be like 0.75. Or 0.5, yeah. That's a good one. And it can spawn maximally 1 time, let's say 5 times. And now it's time to break and test it out. But super important, very modular, I'd say. Gives us a lot of flexibility for spicing things up, definitely. But we'll see. So, the first time we craft, nothing should spawn. And after that, up to 5 times, 50% of spawning something. Aha, my first real chance to learn modding was digging into 7 Days to Die and editing XML they use. Editing numbers helped me realize what those numbers were connected to. I found the loading screen tips and rewrote 30 of them to be silly things instead of don't forget to reload. Exactly. That's very good. Wow, interesting that they still use XML files, like a lot of them use XML, but kind of thing that people moved to JSON. But 7 Days to Die, it was so long in development, I guess, huh? It left early access just a couple of years ago, months ago. Well, if I have to fight with here, Risk of Rain 2. For real. It's interesting because in XML you have like a lot of more characters, if you know what I mean. Probably it's tankier. But then again, a lot of times I see that you have YAML files of what I... YML also. That format. Okay, we found the forge. Yeah, because in XML you get it stored right next to it, right? That's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna cheat. Add item. Club. I'll be clubbing. Here we go. First one, nothing should spawn. Oh. Oh, idiot. 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 To create a club, I have to have 2 wooden sticks. But okay, first one, nothing spawned. That's okay. Actually, to hell with it. Something spawned and like... really, really bad. Everything is... yeah, they spawned. Buggies, where are you? Okay, not this one. Yeah, they have Twitch integration too, so I learned how to also create things, even though I barely know what a class is. But again, I learned to play songs on the piano, not learn to read sheet music. That's true. So now I'm going to force myself to try to sit through tutorials, learn the terminology, test things, etc. That's one way to go, dude. Okay. So. Add true, add false. Three bugs. Huh. Okay. Let's make breakpoints. Conditions. All true. That's all true. Okay, testing it out again through Visual Studio Code. Let's see what kind of breakpoints we have in here. Level scenario, time condition. I don't need this one. F5. Piano 4 is the only F I got in college. Destroyed my GPA. Piano. Lately, YouTube has been recommending me that bass player. What's his name? 500 something he has in his nick or something like that. Ah, first one is false. Okay, the checks are happening. I gotta pause it just for a second. You know what, Lilith? I have a mission for you. You go first. Ooh. Okay. Where is Forge Forging? Yeah, that's the storage shrine. Here's Snippy. Ooh, party time. Ambush. Two shrines. That's too much. Davy 504, exactly. That's cool, that's cool. So do you do some concerts still, man? Oh, that thing spat on me. Fairy dust. All good, man, all good. I believe in you. You still have it. Oh, crap. I forgot to set the breakpoint. Just a second. Why doesn't it trigger anymore? Evaluate custom. Evaluate should be triggering when. If conditions is less than oh. Huh. No, pass false, no. Okay, interesting. It stopped triggering. I bet it's... yeah. But do you play something for yourself? For the soul, man? Do you still do it? Check blackboard. I played the guitar like long time ago in my teens. Had a cover band, metal cover band. And then I played bass because we had problems with bassists. That was other thing. And now that I have a kid, I think that I'm gonna buy a guitar for him and for myself. And I'm not gonna force him at anything, you know. Like, I want to practice, but I want to be sure that there's a small guitar for him if he wants to join whenever he wants to. That's one. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it stops, right? No, 6, 7, 8. It's going forward. That's okay. Okay, where's the shrine? Every so often I'll play guitar or bass guitar, but not really my cello. When was the first time that you started playing an instrument, dude? Let's add. Okay. Now I'm gonna set the breakpoint. Oh crap. I have to stand on the forge. Like this. Okay, flag resources count 1, that's okay. I'm looking here for key, num items crafted. Now I want to see what do I get out of it. Boom. Let's see, where are we? Greater than or equal. Stored value is what? Nil. Because I didn't craft anything yet. But Blackboard check type is all true. So first time it's gonna be returned. That's okay, because it's gonna add false. Good. Okay. Then the second check comes in. We're gonna pause for now this one. And we're gonna put 2 more down. And now I'm gonna set these things up again. So if result and this one, and check type is gonna be true. So Logan says, I started playing in middle school, so 6th grade. First instrument was cello, and then I learned double bass. And that brought me to bass guitar and guitar. Then in high school I got into marching band and I became a percussionist. I played bass guitar from Drum Corps International and then cymbals. And then all the other percussion stuff in college. It's so interesting. You were so heavily involved in music, right? And you say that you don't play now anymore. That's interesting. Was it something that you loved to do, or was something that you were a bit forced on? If you don't mind. Now the blackboard didn't trigger anymore. Huh. The check didn't trigger anymore. How's that possible? One second. I just dived deep into my hobbies. I had a really bad childhood, went into foster care. So it was your escape. I remember you telling me about the foster home and so on. One late night stream. I bet you have so many stories, dude. Yeah. But let's not revive them. They're bad. You said? Or? Yeah, or. What a question. Sorry, Logan. If I go here now, evaluate custom, that triggers, but I get the burnout feeling. Now this evaluate stops working. You know what? Gonna rubber dog the shit out of it. We need progress. Let's see. Let's see if I slap in this one. This one. And this one, of course. Oh no, not you. Here we go. And level scenario. Let's spawn something. Here we go, that's another one, and then what's the scenario? Easy something. Easy bandit patrol squad. No. Protectors. Hope that he'll see what's going on wrong. Gymnastics and coaching since then. Okay, I'm gonna change the music a bit. PS1 Pixel Jungle Low Poly Ethereal Intelligent Drum and Bass. Liquid, chill out and study mix. And Gandalf says, I want you to chill on my music. Take a look at this, guys. Much wow. Check it out. I want you. Here we go. Let's obey him. He told us to chill out. We're doing that. Looking at your code, I can spot the bug. In level scenario condition resource, the initialize flag is being set to true after the first init call, which is fine, but the blackboard condition resource also caches state internally. And more importantly, resources in Godot are shared. No, don't do that. I duplicate them. I duplicate them. This Claude became such an idiot. Don't want to rage about it. Compare variance greater than equal checks left, meaning it checks the flag's hard-coded value too. I have rolled. Order does matter, of course it does. One second, Blackboard. I pass in flag resource value, so that's like, I don't know, number 2. Then I compare it to the stored value. And if I have equal or greater to, greater than or equal. Bro, get that sausage away from me. Which sausage do you mean? This saswage? Saswage. Ah. Comparison operator. If I have greater than or equal to, stored value. So for example, stored value is number 2. Yes, stored value changes. Okay. The order was wrong. At least I think so. And that's what Cloud is telling me. That's something that I could burn on hours. Okay. We got this the first time, disabling them. That's okay, let's just see if it's gonna evaluate correctly, and that's it. So we need a couple of crafting sticks. Okay. Let's nuke these guys. Damn. Oh, I can summon a skeleton soon. 112. Come on, some fury, and we have another protector. There we go. And he's invisible, for fuck's sake. Sorry about that. Bug that I tackled dozens of times. Okay, first one was crafted, nothing spawned. That's okay. Second one was crafted. Something should spawn. No. Third one was crafted. Nothing spawned. Fifth one was crafted. Nothing spawned. Nothing. Okay, did the checks even get through here? Or are they completely gone? Ah, the checks are still triggering, but what's going on now? Value is 2. Stored value is not. So, what the hell? Am I comparing the wrong value? I mean, stored value, I don't get it. The key is... num items crafted. And in the forge I set or create num items crafted. Why is this trolling me? Values. Num items crafted. Okay, that's a comparison. Blackboard. Wait up, wait up, wait up. I'm not incrementing something correctly. Then the issue could lie here. Set or create BB War 1. But... huh. I tried to get BB War num items crafted. And it sets to false. Why the F? This isn't incrementing, it's always set to 1. Why? Blah, 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 blah. Wait up. If it stopped somewhere around let me see you in the forge. I'm just gonna try to call this function like that. False. What? I'm gonna spit out the values. Count 1. Classic post-increment trap in Spawn Forged. Of course. Idiot. You're calling try get bb var, which routes to the generic overload, not the variant one. That overload only handles variant type object, or the objects and int stored as a variant will never pass the. So check is always returns false. Huh. Huh. I was using this, I was so smart back in the day. Oh my god. Like that. And casting it to int will always return false because this is not a variant type. Like what? It's a variant, I thought that it's casting them normally to primitives like ints and so on. Let's see if he's not mistaken. We'll see what's gonna happen now. Like this. Okay. Setting the breakpoint here. And let's restart. Plus plus wasn't good. Because plus plus increments after, right? Okay. It started finally. I gotta come up with a new video, short, for YouTube. Anybody has an idea? What should I showcase? Last time I showcased minigames. There we go. Okay, it's set as a first one. So that's okay. Now if we go the second time. It goes the incremented way. This one is good. And they spawned, and they continue spawning from the second one. But I got a problem. That's always checking the blackboard every tick. Yeah. Showcase the NPC? That Eastok or whatever thing, long blade that Snip had is pretty fun. Long blade? Aha. You could show off some of the exploration, like how you have to search for the minigame pieces. For secrets, right? And so on. Maybe NPC, I didn't showcase Lilith yet. That's also a possibility. I'm gonna try to have like a pitch for the game that I hold dear to my heart, and the pitch for the game will be like, imagine instead of Frodo and Sam going to the Mountain of Doom, Aragorn and Gimli or something like that. What do you guys say about that? More useful than other NPC followers. She does more than carry burdens. Good one. It's good, right? I always imagined it this way, you know. You have a companion, not too many, not too little, and you guys have to go far up the mountain. And you're not weak. Okay, now I get the problem here. number of items crafted has to be 2. That's the first precondition, but you know, this condition gets checked every second, so the first time it hits number 2, it's gonna spawn them until it maxes out this max ticks 5. That means that it's gonna spawn like 5 squads. So, what do I have to do here? Wait a minute, Blackboard state to activate scenario. Not sure if I need these things here. No, I don't use these things at all. I'm gonna nuke them out. But then I had a scenario blackboard, which would be scenario specific stuff. That's okay. I'm bypassing these things by the conditions. So this can be removed. Still, I need an event trigger. But what would be the good design for this? I know that in Blackboard I kind of emit something, right? Was I smart? Yeah, I have some. Exactly. I emit Blackboard value added or Blackboard value changed. I emit this. I could be subbing for on that. Because I increment in that value only when I forge a new item, and that thing should be triggered only then. Hi Bone Dragon! How's it going? Drawing pixel art? Last time you were talking about pixel art as well, right? Okay. So if I sub... If I sub. Also good. Trying to polish this conditional system a bit regarding the scenarios. If anyone wants art for their games I draw now, I'm getting into 3D art and 3D art animation. That's cool. That's really cool. Any specific themes that you are practicing on? Let's see, check Blackboard. Blackboard condition resource. That's okay, only the trigger when this happens. You joined your first Game jam. That's cool. Sorry about being quiet, I'm just thinking where I'm gonna wire this in. It just doesn't fit the current system. Being it event driven, because I'm not subscribing, I'm polling currently. And then can process constant is inside there, but here I evaluate stuff. For the condition, and the condition only starts once. Okay, I started once. Well, there's a trick. There's a trick, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but it should in theory. For example, if I evaluate a condition somewhere, and if it becomes true, I can set the blackboard's value also. That condition check, but you know, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Let's flirt with this idea just a second. I'm gonna take a leak, guys. Be right back. More than 80% battery left. Your boy back. Has no clue how I'm gonna solve this. Freaking hell. I've only got like 30%, 3% battery left. Yeah, dude, you sleepy, huh? You sleepy, you sleepy. Here we go. I have a weird idea. It's a really weird idea. Like, charging conditions, how many times it passed. If I make any sense. So, for example, level scenario resource could have protected value, integer, I would say charges left, like 0. And this charges left could be charging, I mean incrementing based on certain events that trigger. And this is a weird thing. Initialize through, and it custom. Evaluate custom. For example, I could say evaluation type. I don't know. Like, and I could hallucinate that this is normal, charge based. And every this evaluation, no evaluation type. By default it would be normal and charges left. This is weird. That's something that God wouldn't create. But I'm just a man. But no, I can't really decrement in the charges here. Because I don't eat the charges here. I eat them in scenario controller or scenario resource. I'm gonna simplify the shit out of it, guys. If I want to have like 2 or 3 scenarios, I don't have to do that. That for every single time you're gonna spawn like a squad. But then again, it's giving me that vibe that I want to do it, you know. Must continue formatting. Yeah. No, this charges way, it's not gonna work. What happens with can process? Oh, if I have chance here. But this takes every second. F it. Better name, important. Okay. I wonder if I should be checking all conditions pass also for the process. In process I have to check all the inner conditions. Because if dynamically some condition goes to false, this is, oh, it's quite like you can complicate these things how much you like, you know. Now it's always gonna check the condition pass every single frame. That's okay. It evaluates all of them. Can processes what? Where do I do this check? Okay, this is for setting it to false. Okay, start playing scenario. If it's false, we continue, otherwise we trigger unstarted and this changes the state. Makes sense. Then we have scenario tick timer that starts, and that tick is being ticked every single time. But this process scenario I have inside the check. Level scenario, I do the checks in here. Should I be lifting this out? This is being only called where? No, not this one. Can process is somewhere. This one. Why would I have a guard inside the function? Also one thing that I'm always split on. Because this is only being ticked out here. Huh. One second. Can process custom, and all conditions. Huh. So this is for start. Can start. That's why that previous naming was good. Then I knew why this guard was in place first here. If it can start itself, yeah. Okay. Better naming. But this can process? Logan, thanks for stopping by, man. Catch some great Z's and see you next time, dude. One day I'll start sleeping like a normal person. Probably not as long as you're streaming. Dude. I'll understand you. Whenever it happens. Can process custom is false, okay. Okay. I'm gonna split this one in two. Okay, I can get rid of a couple of brackets, and now I'm gonna return this simply here. Why am I splitting it? Because one function is only called at the beginning for can start. So if it's not started yet and so on, and the other one could be here. Okay, conditions passed. This is okay, but so if all the conditions pass for the process scenario. 1 second. So I have like unit spawner. Can process and conditions passed. Do I check both of them somewhere? I could slap that one in there. See, I go to auto finish as soon as we can't process them. This is becoming a clusterfuck that I'm having trouble of understanding. Looks smart. It isn't. Probably it is. But, yeah. That's just how it is sometimes. So, what did I have here earlier? Oops, sorry about that. Level scenario controller. In the past, this one only checked in progress. And that was clean and good. Like that. And if it didn't start, I triggered on start, and then the process one in here was in here and can process this thing is okay. I understand it. Custom process is the thing that's being implemented by a child level scenario. Okay. Actors, I don't remember what I did here. I wanted to spawn some unit somewhere and so on, probably. Never mind. Condition passed. This is evaluating the conditions for the scenario, but this is bothering me because I have like two conditions. Conditions passed, which is like a condition for what? Starting condition. So this is a condition that has to pass even if we want to just start the whole check. The scenario. So this naming is a bit off. Because if I dynamically want to change the values of the conditions, some state there, this is gonna be interesting. Managing that up and down, it's possible, it's doable, but I know that future me will be like, what the fuck did you do here? So that's what's bothering me a tiny bit. Tiny bit. But yeah, let's remove this schmorn. Now the problem I have is that that condition happens. I don't have reactivity on events. That's one thing. So I get I get to read that I mean, I could have two values stored in the blackboard, like temp variables. That's a possibility. So for example, if I spawn units, and that one has to be there. Yeah. Blank, 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 blank. There was some progress with the blackboard, so that's okay. Some refactoring and so on, but this architecture. Conditions have to pass that it starts, it starts. What I want to do is that it only starts once the items crafted is more than 2. Should this trigger on every craft? Nah. Then why the F am I messing with this? And this chance gets triggered every single check, which is another problem. Yeah. I'm gonna call it quits for today. Gonna cook, think about it, implement it, and so on. But I want to have this system good. Like... really, because once we have this, I can do all sorts of things. Yeah, 23, you're welcome. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye.